Chair now calls Gail Fair, Vanessa Bailey, Adrian Boyne, Jessica Powell, Dr. Beverly Knuckles, Mary Ann Quintana. They will be followed by Noah Pennington, Lainey Duro, Tricia Heflin, David Wheeler, Cheryl Wyblue, Janice Seaton Ryan. We will begin with Gail Fair. Okay, Gail.
Come up.
You're up.
Alrighty. Hi. I got up, set my alarm for 3:15 this morning, and been waiting to come. And just thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Senator Campbell's a good friend, and Senator Nelson too. Thank you guys. My name is Gail Fair. I'm from Converse, Texas. I'm speaking for this bill, and I want to share a testimony from a friend of mine. I'm going to read it before I get too nervous. My friend was married with a 9-month-old a baby girl. She was nursing her. She was told she couldn't get pregnant when she was nursing. That turned out to not be true. She did get pregnant. She remembered there was a free clinic by the college, so she got her free pregnancy test. It was positive. She knew that she and her husband had talked about the timing, and she expressed this concern at the clinic. People at the clinic told her, do not worry, just call this doctor as soon as possible. You can have an abortion. When she got home and told her husband, he told her that she had no choice. If you want to stay home and raise the first child, you would have to have an abortion or go back to work and put the baby in child care. For her, she knew that could not be an option. She called her husband, and when her husband said she had no choice, she called the doctor, made an appointment for the abortion. And to this day, she says it was by far the biggest mistake of her entire life. When I saw her a couple of Sundays ago, she took off her necklace and gave it to me and asked me to bring it here because I got up at 3 a.m. I forgot it at home. But this abortion happened 35 years ago, and it still remains the very darkest day of her life. So every time she passes that corner, she clenches inside, knowing that that is where her child's life on this earth ended, and she went into a very deep depression. I should end up saying she's a wonderful Christian lady. Now she does post-abortive ministry. In my few last seconds, I want to say I hear about poverty all the time. Let's not use that as an excuse to kill a child or a woman of color.
Thank you. Vanessa Bailey.
Thank you, Chair and Committee. My name is Vanessa Bailey. I am a constituent of Senator Dan Patrick, and I'm here to testify against Senate Bill 1. It took me 36 months to get pregnant. 36 months of infertility, of feeling like a failure, of hating my body. But my positive pregnancy test was worth all it. The surgery, the treatment, the tears, the cost. I was finally going to be a mother. I made a promise to my daughter before she was conceived that I would always love her and keep her safe. How could I do that with spina bifida? How could I protect her from her own body? That unspoken promise I made as a parent was tested in the most horrible and painful way when we were given a poor prenatal diagnosis in the 2nd trimester. My husband and I made the most ethical decision we had available to us. We terminated our desperately wanted pregnancy. Forcing my daughter to live with such a severe, non-fatal diagnosis felt like a condemnation to a lifetime of suffering, which is neither ethical nor compassionate. My daughter would have been saved by science, only to be forced to endure operation after operation and live in hospitals. Having a healthy child is a luxury that the creators of this bill enjoy every single day. They would not be personally affected by this. Unless you've been in a situation as desperate as mine, you cannot even begin to fathom the complexity of this issue. Proponents claim that this is about women's health, but they don't understand the ripples that Senate Bill 1 would create. If politicians want to prevent fetal pain and improve women's health, then they need to understand that anti-choice legislation like this only forces desperate women into the very situations they're trying to prevent. I'm an infertile woman, and I terminated my only pregnancy because I was preventing pain, not causing it. Please vote no on this cruel and unusual punishment.
Boyne.
I am Adriana Boyne, and I live in North Dallas, and my senator is Senator John Carona. I am the mother of 2 boys who were born prematurely. During the time that they were in the ICU in Baylor Hospital in Dallas, I was able to not only take care of my baby, but seeing other babies who were very early 1-pound babies who were in the 20s, 22 weeks. And I can tell you that I really fell in love with these kids. I could see that they feel pain, that they feel when they were happy, and it just was a joy. It is important to talk. I heard a lot of Latinas coming today, and most of them for the bill. I am for the bill as well. I do believe that the abortion industry has been targeting my community. 835 Latino babies will have been aborted by the end of the day today, and the single most dangerous place for a Latina is in the mother's womb. So I just want to remind all of the people here in the panel, if you have seen the pictures or the images of those babies, if you have seen those babies when they have been aborted, because babies feel pain, los bebés sienten dolor, because also the mothers feel pain, las madres sienten dolor, because the parents, when they see the bodies, the little bodies of the babies, they also feel pain. Los padres también sienten dolor cuando sus niños son abortados. Now, we hear a lot of stories here from both sides, and it feels pain. I do believe a woman who has been raped is a very, very painful situation, and certainly they do not wait 5 months to make a decision to have an abortion. Certainly we're here advocating also that we want to avoid the pain of the women. The women go through a lot of emotional pain after abortions. We have heard all sorts of testimonies, most of them for women who after they make the decision, they know that that was not the right decision. There are other options. Adoption is one of them. I know wonderful people. My cousins have raised 2 children with the spina bifida. Also, I know other people have other type of abnormalities, but I know that they have been able to go with it. So I just ask you to please to support SB1, and thank you. Gracias.
Thank you. Ms. Powell?
Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Powell. I'm from Conroe, Texas. I'm a constituent of Senator Tommy Williams, and I am against Senate Bill 1. I have a lot of opinions personally on this issue. However, I don't have any direct experience with abortion, so I'd like to read on behalf of my friend Greg Riley, husband of my dear friend Vanessa Riley, about his experience with abortion. In the first days of the new year, my wife and I had our unborn daughter terminated. We struggled through 3 years of infertility, spending thousands of dollars of our savings on treatments before finally getting pregnant. For 16 weeks, we felt her grow and talked lovingly about all the hopes and dreams that she embodied. Then, the day after Christmas, our world fell apart. We had chosen to pay for a 16-week ultrasound to determine the sex of our baby instead of waiting for the scheduled scan at 20 weeks. And this ultrasound had revealed that she had the worst form of spina bifida. Over the next week, we were told by specialists that paralysis, brain damage, and physical deformity was the beginning of our child's problems. Bringing her to term meant risk to my wife, pre- and postnatal surgeries for our baby, and a lifetime of expensive medical care. We had fought so hard to create this life that our first instinct was to protect her, to push forward, and to provide all the care for her that we could afford. Then we realized the selfishness of that. How could I justify forcing a person to endure a life of painful disability purely to satisfy my own need for a child, when I had the power to prevent her suffering before it even started? For that reason, we chose not to gamble with our child's life, and instead underwent a professional termination procedure as an act of mercy. The choice was the most difficult we have ever had to make, but it was ours to make as loving parents in the best interest of our baby. We were lucky to have found her condition early, to have had access to local resources when dealing with it, and to have had no ticking deadline hanging over our heads. I urge the Senate to say no to any legislation that would erode the rights of Texans to make a choice like mine after 20 weeks, or which would limit their access to the necessary medical professionals.
Thank you. Dr. Knuckles?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, I'm Dr. Beverly Knuckles. I'm a family physician, and I've got a master's in bioethics. I'm from New Braunfels, and I'm here to testify in favor of SB1, both for myself and Texas Alliance for Life. It's good policy to require doctors performing abortions to have hospital privileges in case their patients need to be admitted for complications. It's reasonable to require abortion facilities to follow safe guidelines that other facilities that do similar procedures like a DNC have to follow. And there's nothing wrong with expecting doctors to follow FDA guidelines and the provider agreement that they signed when they signed up to dispense Mifeprex. And politically, it's significant that 62% of your registered voters support a ban on abortion after 20 weeks, whether or not the fetal human feels pain. I've given y'all two really good articles that refute the articles you've heard about. These are very peer-reviewed articles by specialists in pain and fetal medicine. 20 weeks or 5 months is just 2 weeks shy of the current lower limit of viability, regardless of what we can measure, and we can measure pain. Any of us are a slip from a curb or a stroke, or my granddaughter who was born with horrible bone marrow deficiency and had a bone marrow biopsy every week of her life until she was 2 years old. She had to have blood drawn. She ended up with a bone marrow transplant, and today she's healthy, but we have to watch her for leukemia. Any of us, all of us humans, we depend on our society to protect us from bad doctors and from murderers and from killers. We can't decide on who is human and who is human and not human enough. Unfortunately, we don't have a choice right now with the way laws are. This is a good compromise. I do believe that these children have pain at 20 weeks, and they can't moderate it. It gets in a feed-forward loop. Thank you.
Mary Ann Quintana.
Quintana, yes, ma'am. I'm Mary Ann Quintana. I'm from Tomball, Texas. I apologize. I'm very nervous. I usually talk to little people, not big people. I don't think that there's evidence that the fetus can feel pain at 20 weeks, not substantial evidence. It hasn't been proven yet. But even if they can, I'm concerned that this bill doesn't address the fact that some children will be feeling pain for a long time after they're born, if they're born. Most of the abortions that take place later in the pregnancy are they're often a result of a medical issue and a medical concern. And as a teacher, I've seen families torn apart and drained of their money trying to raise a child with severe disabilities. I certainly don't advocate aborting all of the children that have disabilities, but not all children with disabilities have Down syndrome and a happy smile. Abortion is not a decision that women take lightly. A dear friend of mine had to make the decision to terminate a pregnancy after years of trying to get pregnant. The child's quality of life was the reason for her decision, and she suffered emotionally but knew it was the best choice for her daughter. Don't further punish her and others like her. I urge you to allow women and their doctors to make these health care decisions for themselves.
Thank you. Thank you to this panel. You'll exit out that way.